Hi, I'm John and welcome to the Jigsaw Puzzler. Today's puzzle is a really lovely image from one out of a very large series of puzzles, The World of, and today it's The World of Charles Dickens. A 1,000 piece puzzle produced by Orion Publishing Group for Laurence King. I'm not sure whether these puzzles are produced under the same branding in other countries, but that's how this one is in Australia. Okay, it is one of a very large series, as I said. I've got another one in the series, The World of Sherlock Holmes, which I have presented in a previous episode. I have also done The World of Claude Monet, and I think I have done The World of Frida Kahlo as well. I think my puzzle partner has both of those in her collection. All right, The World of Charles Dickens. This is a very amazing detailed puzzle. It is an artistic puzzle. It is artistic representation of London, Dickensian London, full of characters and places and events from Charles Dickens's very well-known repertoire. All right, when you open the box, there is a large poster inside the box showing the entire image. It is not full size, but it's not far off it because the details are so small and so fine. Having a poster this size makes it really, really helpful for getting this puzzle done. On the front of the box, it says a jigsaw puzzle with 70 characters to find. Actually, there are 71 of them. And I know that because on the back of the poster, there is a key to all of the characters on this puzzle. These are characters from both Charles Dickens's life, including Dickens himself, and also many of the really well-known characters from his novels. I don't know if it's every novel, but certainly a great number of his novels are represented on this puzzle. So, what I'm going to do is I'll talk about the quality of the puzzle. We'll take a tour around the image, but we'll also have a tour around the novels that are associated with the characters on this puzzle. And then I'll give you the tips on how I tackled this puzzle from start to finish. We'll have a time lapse. All right, so the quality of this puzzle is excellent. The pieces they're not overly thick, but they're not one of those horribly thin puzzles either. It has a lovely satin finish, very smooth, quite nice to run your hands over, and is not very glossy, so when you've got lights on it, it's not that difficult to see what's on the pieces. It's not that reflective. The downside with this puzzle, I think, is that it is a very loose fit. There is no way that I would be able to pick it up at all. Certainly not complete, difficult enough in sections when you're doing a part of the puzzle and then have to move it. It does fall apart very, very quickly in your hands. So obviously packing it up is not going to be an issue, but holding it together really is. It's exceptionally loose fit. It is ribbon cut and consists of the one basic piece shape, the vertical and the horizontal form, and no other of the standard piece shapes. It doesn't seem to be a problem though, because there's so much detail on the puzzle that you're really looking for colours and textures rather than piece shapes with this one. The pieces are slightly more elongated than wide, which means that for some of the pieces it is more easy to tell which way up they go, whether they're vertical or horizontal, and that does kind of help a little bit, but I didn't really use that feature very much when I put it together. So it is a lovely quality, but a very loose fit. All right, tour around the image. Well, this is highly detailed. I'm not going to take you on a tour of every aspect of the image of this, nor am I going to show you where all of the 71 characters are on the puzzle. I will point out some of them as I go, but more as I talk about the key on the back of the poster. The picture itself shows a river cutting through the bottom half of the puzzle, and that's the River Thames in London. There is an island here, and there are a number of bridges. There are some boats of different sizes on the river. In the front here, it consists mostly of buildings, to be honest. Different kinds of buildings, different sizes, different colours, different shapes. Some of them tenements squished very close together, some elegant Georgian townhouses, some are large commercial buildings. This one's a factory. There's a very large house here. There's another building here on fire in the middle. There's some shops. There's a square with a monument in the middle of it. There's the Dome of St Paul's, which has actually been sort of photoshopped into it. It hasn't been drawn like the rest of the puzzle or painted, but it looks as if a couple of things there which have been added in, which are a more collage style. However, and then there's a lot of houses and things at the front here, some of them like on the island here in this part here, obviously very slum areas, East End kind of parts of London, whereas some of these other ones are clearly wealthier parts of the city. There are a couple of parks and squares, one with a fountain here, and just lots and lots and lots of detail and lots of people. A building in the middle is on fire, as I said, and then there are some chimneys belching smoke out of them, and that's one of the elements that you can find in the puzzle sorting tray, is looking for all the smoke to piece those sort of more faded areas together. All right, on the back of the poster, as I said, there's a key to the 71 people and then a description in text of who they are and which of the novels they come from. So they're all numbered here, and some of the buildings here are not numbered, not characters as such, but they are important locations in Dickens's novels. So this one here, for example, is this building over here, the Old Curiosity Shop, from that novel of the same name. This one here is the White Hart Inn, which was from I should know this. Pickwick Papers. Yeah, the Pickwick Papers, and then there's a building over here which is a shop which is from Christmas Carol. So the business that Bob Cratchit works in, Marley and Sons business there. But lots and lots of other places as well. All right, so if I quickly scan through here and work my way around the text without giving too much away, we can see that there is reference to Little Dorrit. There is a reference to David Copperfield. So the factory here is from David Copperfield. There is some of Charles Dickens's associates, like Wilkie Collins and The Woman in White, reference to Collins's novel The Woman in White, and his friend, become rival, William Makepeace Thackeray. Dickens himself is standing on the bridge. I'm pretty sure that's him. And then down the bottom here, Great Expectations, the house of Miss Havisham, the woman who was jilted at the altar and has everything, stopped all the clocks, stayed in a wedding dress, kept the wedding feast out. It was all rotting and decaying. She's immensely bitter, but a very vividly drawn character. Absolutely wonderful character in Great Expectations. We have the Pickwick Papers. We have Oliver Twist with Fagin and Nancy Sykes. Nancy and Bill Sykes, sorry. We have Nicholas Nickleby. We have the Old Curiosity Shop. We have Christmas Carol. We have Barnaby Rudge. We have, which is the burning of Newgate Prison in Barnaby Rudge. We have Martin Chuzzlewit. There's Dombey and Son, Bleak House, A Tale of Two Cities, and Our Mutual Friend, and The Mystery of Edwin Drood. So I think every one of Charles Dickens's novels has been represented on here in one way or another, building, character, or a series of characters. And they're all illustrated here, but it's not, you have to go looking for them. It's like a puzzle within a puzzle, and it really is a fascinating image to do. All right, so how did I do a puzzle like this? Well, it is such a busy image. There are so many changes of colour and texture all over the puzzle that it is really, really difficult to know where to start and how to concentrate on this. I found that I needed to become an expert in windows because there are so many windows all over this puzzle in every building, different shapes, sizes, architectural details, that you just had to become familiar with where the different window shapes were in the picture. I pulled out the edge pieces first. I normally do that, and then I also pulled out some other areas which I felt were going to be obvious places that would be helpful to start. This blue stripe of the river was one of those things. I definitely pulled that out because it is such a distinctive strip through the puzzle. Now there are other areas, small areas of blue. There are blue buildings, scattered across the puzzle. There's this blue fountain here. There's some pale blue ones. There's some people wearing blue clothing. But the blue of the river, I really wanted to get that out. I also focused on this red building down here, the flames of the fire coming out of the Newgate prison, and this magnificent green house up here, which is quite distinctive and a shade of green that doesn't really appear across any other part of the puzzle. I also picked out all of the really bright green of the grass, which I knew was going to be mostly, or shrubbery, which is mostly this area, this little park in the middle, this band up in the top corner, and there's a fair bit of it down in the bottom corner, down here. So I started working on those parts, put the edge together, and then tried to carve a section off with the river and put some of these other bits in place. I then really had to move by colour or texture. Started with colour, and the bricks, for example, on the Newgate prison, on this factory here, distinctive large buildings, some of these ones over here. And then I also picked on colours which were not that common in the image, like this bright magenta colour of the shop here, which is also repeated in a couple of little tiny buildings on the puzzle, and a couple of pieces of clothing just scattered about, little tiny fragments of it. So I pulled that really bright magenta colour out. I also found that doing this cobblestone paving, lots of areas of cobblestone paving to show the streets of London, and some quite significant sections of it. So I started to pull those out and try to put the street together so that we could try to join various parts of it together. This puzzle was not as hard as the previous ones that I've done. Thankfully, I've done a whole series of puzzles which have been quite difficult. This one wasn't as difficult, but it still was not what I would call an easy puzzle. I think the loose fit didn't help. But even so, there are a lot of buildings on here which are the same shades of brown or very similar shades of brown, and that did not make it easy, because then I had to look at all those windows and figure out which building was where. A lot of the roofs are similar colour, this sort of charcoal grey colour. There are a few that are sort of a different colour, but again, just looking very closely to see where is there a building of this colour, a roof of that colour, a person dressed in this manner, and just piecing it together. It's one of those puzzles that comes together, starts to clump together, I find, rather than, expanding out across the puzzle or, building in logical sections. You just do bits at a time, then eventually when you add to them, they kind of clump together and eventually form the whole picture. It is quite a satisfying puzzle to do. I like the fact that we can look for the characters. We've got all the key on the back there, and you can go looking for the characters from each of the novels. I have not read all of the novels or seen the movies that go with them. I know a number of them, so that some of them are still quite unfamiliar to me. But even if you're not overly familiar with the novels, it is quite a lovely puzzle to do, full of interest and colour and texture and detail. And I just think that I find that quite appealing to do a puzzle like that. This is going to be my last puzzle review for the year. With Christmas and the New Year steaming down upon us very rapidly, I'm going to take a break over the next couple of weeks. So I'll be back sometime in January with to start another round of reviews on my channel. So don't go away and keep your eye out for those when they come. But I am taking a short break over the Christmas and New Year period. So I'd like to wish all my viewers happy holidays and safe travel wherever you happen to be. We are going to have the time lapse. If you'd like to click like and subscribe, make a comment below as per usual. Always happy to read those comments and respond to them. And thank you to those of you who commented on the soundtracks for the time lapses that you quite enjoy. Looking forward to what I've chosen for those. Anyhow, on with the time lapse, and thank you for watching. you.